Welcome to episode number 16 of my When I Grow Up weekly Instagram Live series. Today we're hanging out with Chelsea of We Are Fredi. Chelsea is actually super prolific, so she's not only a part of We Are Fredi with her brother. They co-founded this company, but she's also a part of a Launch It program that helps female entrepreneurs launch companies. So she is going to be super insightful for us to follow along and listen to her story of how she created We Are Fredi and then also the Launch It. She's like running two businesses at the same exact time. But yesterday I was posting on my stories like, do you have brain fog? Are you always looking for more energy? Do you have memory issues, like productivity stuff, all of this? And everyone's like, yes, I have brain fog. Yes, I wish I had more energy. Yes, da 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 da. Anyway, so I was just laughing to myself because I think we all struggle with, I think all of those things, brain fog, all of it as founders and entrepreneurs. So they launched a product called, I need to actually pull it up, but it's all about helping your productivity, your energy levels, boost your memory, feel energized, clear brain fog. I keep saying brain frog. Do you guys see that? But it's called Focused by Fredi. So it's a supplement designed to help you boost productivity. So I want to talk to Chelsea about how she launched this company with her brother, maybe some family dynamic stuff. And then she's also doing the launch program for female founders. So ask your questions in the comments, and let's get some of the nitty gritty stuff from her because I know running a business, especially a product business, is hard. So let's see what we can pull out of you. Hi, let's get you up here. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to pull up my notes so I can actually speak eloquently. I've been in on and off meetings. Hi, Chelsea, how are you?
Hi, doing great. How are you?
I'm so good. Let's see. I usually have some kind of technology issues, so that'll happen at some point during this live, but we'll just ignore it.
It happens.
Where are you? Okay, so you're in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, so actually our company's based in LA. Mitch lives in LA, my brother and co-founder, but I'm in San Diego.
Okay, yes. When I'm doing my usual stalking, I wasn't able to, so I love that. Okay, so San Diego. Hi, everyone. So I gave you an intro, but so give me your spiel because I think you'll be able to say it better. But you run two things right now. You do We Are Fredi, and then you do the Launch It. So can you talk to us about both of those quickly? And then I want to dive into some quality questions.
Yeah. So Fredi is a wellness brand. We launched in April, and my brother and I launched this in April. And our entire mission at Fredi our philosophy is that success at work starts with wellness. So we both had, some serious burnouts that we experienced in our own previous career paths that we were on. And we had both kind of come to this conclusion of just, you are not going to get as far as, oh, hi, Tina. You're not going to get as
I know,
far
like, my husband's on, hey.
You're not going to get as far towards your goals if you're not taking care of yourself first and putting your wellness first. So our first product is a all-natural daily supplement that you take that supports focus, but it promotes like mood boosting. It helps you feel like energized but calm. It's this kind of like calm, nice, like collected type of feeling, and you just get some like mental clarity, sharpness. It helps with memory. There's all kinds of amazing things that it does. It's really good for your brain in general and just really enhances cognitive function. So that's what Fredi's all about. We just sold out in December a couple weeks ago, which is wild.
That's incredible. Sorry, guys, that I'm beefing up this talk and then you can't go by, but get on the wait list.
We are available for pre-order right now, actually.
Yes.
So you can get 20% off your order if you go and order it now, and then we'll be able to ship it out to you in like 4-ish weeks, hopefully, when we're back in stock. So that is an option, and then you get to save some money on it. And then Launch It Girl is a brand strategy and design studio. So I'm a brand strategist and a brand copywriter by trade.
Yeah.
And so I partner with Lauren Deloach, who's an amazing graphic and web designer. And we have this team that we've formed where we help women launch their businesses. So really both businesses are super, super different from each other, but they kind of share this mission of just helping women move past those barriers that hold them back from their goals and just, yeah, kind of achieve everything they want to achieve and live into their full potential. So that's what we're up to over there.
I love that. So can we dig in a little bit? So did you launch I keep mixing up the name, Launch It Girl. Did you launch that? When did that start?
Oh, so we've been running Launch It Girl since like 2017.
Okay.
So we've been up and going for a while.
So you did that, and then collectively, I mean, when I was on your site, it was like you and your brother were both hitting this like burnout stage at the same time. So you were in Launch It Girl at the time, and then you're talking to your brother about this, and he's in the other like side of things. And so that's when you came up with this idea, because you both collectively needed this for your day-to-day working life. So I love that. It was a problem you both had, and then family business. I mean, that's pretty exciting, and maybe not at the same time. I was going to have Mitch on, but we'll have to find a way to get like 3 people to stream in.
That would be awesome. Yeah, Mitch has a wild story about his kind of low health point experience he'll have to share with you from his race on Wall Street. Yeah. But actually, it was kind of before Launch a Girl that I really reached that point for myself of having like just totally, I was spread so thin. I was saying yes to everything because I just hadn't really discovered like what was my thing. It was more my early 20s. I was trying to figure out like what I want to do. And in the process, I was trying to like prove myself that I was able to start something, and I was just saying yes to everything, affiliating with way too much stuff. And then I just reached a point that I was totally burnt out. I was totally lost. I had no clue what I wanted to be doing. And that's when I was having like almost daily panic attacks. And I was like, I didn't even know what was going on. And then finally I went to a doctor. I was like, I'm having like heart problems. And he's like, no, you have anxiety. And he prescribed me like a book called The Happiness Trap. And it's all about ruminating thoughts and anxiety. And I was like, oh, I had no idea that was what was going on. Wow. So that is when I really started my health journey of, really rethinking everything about how I was taking care of myself, started putting my wellness first. And then with a much clearer head, one of the things that I was also starting to implement were nootropics, which is what our supplement through Fredi is. And Mitch had introduced me to that because he had discovered nootropics through his own wellness journey. And like through that whole process, I found my way into, more of my calling in the branding world and starting Launch a Girl. So Launch a Girl is kind of a product of implementing a better wellness practice, if that makes sense.
Wow. So so for those of us that know what you're talking about, but also at the same time don't know what you're talking about, can you talk about nootropics for a sec?
Yeah. Okay. So nootropics, there's a huge spectrum of what nootropics actually are. Basically, if you drink coffee, you're already a nootropics user. Caffeine is a nootropic.
By the way, let me grab my cup.
Yeah, do it. Yes. Exactly. So there's this huge spectrum where, you have coffee on one side, and then you have like prescription ADHD medication on the far other side of the spectrum. So it's pretty much anything that enhances your cognitive function. So there's a ton of other types of nootropics outside of caffeine. We have a little bit of caffeine in our blend, but we've decided to stick on the completely all natural side of nootropics. So we have herbs, mushrooms, and amino acids in our blend, and that's it. And there are other nootropics out there that have synthetic ingredients. But we wanted to create something that they're just, there's not as long of a track record of consumption of the synthetic ingredients. And Mitch had tried some of them. I didn't really want to try the synthetic ones. They just felt they felt like, and I think a lot of women feel that way.
Yes.
So we really wanted to stick on the all natural side and do something that really is safe to consume, and that we know for sure is safe to consume. So yes, that's a little bit about nootropics. Is basically anything that enhances your cognitive function. But so we're kind of in this like closer to the just caffeine coffee side of the spectrum, but we have some other herbs and mushrooms and amino acids in there.
Which you have these. Oh, so you have L-theanine, green coffee bean, lion's mane, ashwagandha root, bacopa leaf, and then I can't say the C one.
Citicoline.
Citicoline. Okay. Yeah. These are all things I've heard separately from different, like, For Sigmatic has that coffee blend or whatever that's got like the lion's mane and the ashwagandha. And I'll take different powders and stuff, but I like that this is like tested and true. And like you said it clearly. It's not the synthetic stuff. Because for me, it's hard to find. I don't have the time to research, but I also really do want to research what I'm putting into my body.
Yeah.
And similar to you, trying to get this wellness journey figured out so that I do have more energy. I'm not always having to rely on coffee or my third cup or
Exactly.
whatever. So I really, really like this, that it's 100% all natural. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I used to be like a 3-4 cups of coffee a day person.
Yes.
And I really only get like 90% of the way through my first cup now. And and you don't get a crash. It's just,
Yeah.
and you don't get the jitters. It's the way all the ingredients work together is just this really nice, subtle, uplifting, calming effect. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ordering some after our call. So can I ask you, so the theme of this series is called When I Grow Up. So like when you're in high school or middle school or even back to when you were in like baby diapers, did you have this like dream in your mind, a clear I kind of know the answer based on what you said before, but did you grow up with this idea of who or what you wanted to be? And then obviously you mentioned that at one point it was like early 20s, everything was going crazy. But earlier than that, what was your
Yeah.
kind of, direction that you were thinking of going?
I wanted to be a writer my whole life. Yeah. Um,
I love
like
that.
I would be like way up past my bedtime, like under the blankets with a flashlight, just like writing little stories and poems or like song lyrics, even though I have no musical talents. But I always wanted to be a writer, and I still do. I still want to be a writer. But I did find my way into being a professional writer. I started my branding career as a freelance copywriter.
No
So that was
way.
really exciting. But yeah, I kind of went like full circle from, started there. And then as I was getting older and like getting closer to college, like thinking about college, I was like, well, I couldn't really connect the dots between like what is a lucrative career path in writing.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I decided that, maybe I'll just go to college and figure out what I want to write about. And I ended up getting a degree in sustainability and urban planning, which is just like,
What?
I
Wait,
just
that's
have
so
not
cool.
used.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. That's really cool.
I loved it. Actually, in my first job was relevant to that. And I've done
Okay.
a lot of like civic organizing and like community organizing and some work in that realm just in the past, which I still very much hope to get back into at some point. And I love that. But yeah, I always wanted to be a writer. So it's kind of interesting that I kind of ended up on the other side of it, when I really came into this more clear-headed, more putting my wellness first state of mind, that was where I started thinking about it. I was like, well, what did I always want to do? It's like I always wanted to be a writer. How can I do that for my career? And that's kind of how I got into branding.
Wow. See, I love that. So I'm just thinking about my own journey, and I would journal every night. I think I have journals, and I started throwing them away, but I've had journals my whole life. So similar to you, I was always writing and writing all these ideas down and things. I'm like 6 years old and writing in my journal about these things. And then I kind of jumped off the wagon in college for the writing, but I did enjoy writing. And every once in a while, when I would go back and read, I'm like, oh, I kind of put those words together. Nice. They make sense. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. There's something here. But like you, it was like, okay, so I like writing, but where is the jobs for this? So I love how casually, and maybe not so casually, it was probably pretty strategic, but you started as freelance copywriting, and then all of a sudden, did you realize in the journey of being a freelance copywriter that you didn't want to be only the writer, you wanted to be more of the brand strategist? Like how did that shift from doing the copywriting to then a whole suite of items for your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, basically to write like one about section, like one paragraph about somebody, like I would have people coming to me and their main problem was, I don't know what to write about myself. And so I'd be like, okay, I'll help you write a paragraph. And then I quickly realized that I could not write one paragraph about them and decide what to say unless I knew everything about them and all their
Yes.
goals. And
Yeah.
so through the process, I developed basically I have like a template that I've built out that I use for all my brand strategy clients that basically helps pull all of the most important information and help people be reflective and kind of be a little bit more objective about their situation, have a little bit more clarity on it, and find a whole bunch of different ways to articulate what it is that they care about, how to communicate through what their values are, how to think about or their goals, and really clarify that vision that they have and like organize all of their thoughts. So I've just created this process of helping people really, like, I like to think of it as like everyone's brain is, all their ideas is like a big bowl of spaghetti. So we kind of like take each noodle out one by one, and then I'll like help them there. So that's like how I think of the process, is just like detangling a bowl of spaghetti.
Yes.
Like, okay, this is what we're working with, and we're going to move forward based on your goals in this way. So that's how it was, just a really organic process of finding my way into brand strategy. It was just like, how can I not do this piece without, you know, I wouldn't be able to do my work as a copywriter nearly as well if I hadn't done that first. And so then I found that that was really the process I loved, and there was so much power in that. And you know, it helped. I know when I get excited about an idea, I like burn my family and friends out talking about it.
I think we're very similar to that. My poor husband.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes you just want to sit down with someone who's like a fresh set of eyes and ears on it, and who is just as devoted to figuring out the, like, filling in the gaps of that vision and clarifying all these thoughts with you. And so it's so fun and empowering to sit down with people and for them to be able to feel really heard, to have their ideas taken seriously, and to just make a plan to really get clear on what it is they're trying to say. So that's how I've really stepped into that role a lot more. And I love that part of my work. It's so fun.
Honestly, that's the thing. Like, you are a great writer. You also do all of these other things. You've launched multiple companies, but it's coming back down to your true passion and your why. And it's, you want to help people move forward with their dreams and their businesses. And so in order to do that, you're giving them the steps and the tools and the system and the structure and like mapping out their brand. I love that it's like, yeah, I agree. You can't get any work done on those small pieces that they think it's just a logo or just a website or just an about me. But no, truly, you're figuring out all of the things in their head. I'm such a visual learner, so pulling the spaghetti, I'm like, I'm connecting to this so much right now. I'm so in this spaghetti bowl, and I'm pulling these, like, yes, it makes so much sense to me. I love how you said that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, look at Mitch is on. Mitch, if you want to chime in and mess with your sister, please do. So, okay.
Favorite pastimes.
Yeah, right. So Fredi, you guys were just featured on Forbes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So I want to ask, as a founder and as someone that's always constantly probably like months ahead of time, you're not taking the time to like slow down and look, or are you? Are you good at celebrating the small wins? And if not, what are you doing to try and get better at that?
That is something that we talk about at Fredi a lot, of like slowing down, being more present, celebrating those wins. Mitch says if I didn't have lockdown hair, I'd consider it.
You and every other guy in Los Angeles that has been struggling to get an appointment at any salon.
It's so true. I can vouch for that. He does have crazy lockdown hair right now.
It's like, how many different hats can you wear without people realizing it's like, oh, he's just hiding his hair.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I totally lost my train of thought. What was your previous question?
again, the brother. Okay, so the question was, are you celebrating the small wins? Like, you guys were on Forbes yesterday. This is a huge deal. But I'm sure you're in the planning process of some new thing in the company. So is it hard to slow down and celebrate those?
Yeah, so we definitely try to do that. We practice what we preach as much as we can. I think a lot of the times we teach also what we most need to learn. So we're sharing all of these things about wellness and self-compassion. And those are all things that, we're not perfect at. We're also alongside our audience trying to implement for ourselves as we do build this business. And so celebrating the wins is something we usually take a moment to do, even if it's just a quick text of like, hell yes, like let's it, or we'll pour a glass of, I know being in lockdown, it's like we would love to just get together and go do something, or we'll just take a second to acknowledge it. And but yeah, we are, we're always thinking about what's kind of coming next. But I think honestly, just the nature of the business and how a big part of my job is to be creating content for our audience. And when all of the content is around, our values, it helps me stay super connected to my own values and just like, okay, reminding myself all the time, because I am reminding our audience all the time. And so it does really serve as a really helpful tool for me to be able to show up for myself and really walk the talk. Yeah. So yeah, I'm super grateful for that.
I love that. So can I ask you, and it's 18 minutes, so let's give it 10 more or so and let you get back to the workday. But something I've been hearing a ton, because I've been hanging out obsessively on Clubhouse, like, I don't need, we can't get into that conversation, but the first day I joined, I think I started a room at 8 a.m. and then subbed like some meetings and maybe pausing for lunch, or obviously I have a son, so being a mom. But I think I was on until like 12:45 that night, on and off. So like the app has changed my life in so many ways, maybe good, maybe bad, I don't know. But something that a lot of people were talking about was being very clear about your missions and your mission and your values, and posting them everywhere, like on your website, on your email, on your social media, and everything you do. Because someone had an example of a woman was wearing an awesome athletic two-piece, and the lady asked about it, and then it was all about they're all about women empowerment and supporting women and all of that stuff. So then she started buying only that specific athletic wear because she could align so truly to their mission and values, versus if some other athletic company isn't really, it's just a company, but you don't really know the behind the scenes and what they're pushing forward and their why. Yeah. Anyway, long circle question, but like, how are you guys being very intentional about sharing your values and your mission? Because when I go to your Instagram, you're so transparent, you're so approachable. I feel like I get you right away. And so that's why I feel so connected to you already. But like, how are you doing that for those of us that are struggling on sharing their core values and mission to people in a way that doesn't feel salesy or like, I don't know, businessy? How can you make it approachable?
It's a great question. I think for the first thing is just being really clear on what they are. And I think that's a lot easier said than done. Like, most people think, oh, I know what I value. But if you were to really sit down and think about it and dive into those values and start asking yourself, like, maybe you make a list of what's important to you. Yeah. Those aren't necessarily your values. You want to start looking at each one of those and exploring those and saying, why is this important to me? Mm-hmm. And you keep digging and digging and digging until you get to the very core of, like, literally, like, of safety, or these themes that come up that really that you'll start to see come through. Like, I can really see them when I do like my strategies series that I do. I spend like 6 hours on the phone over the course of a couple of weeks with each client, and there are themes that come up consistently that I can point to and be like, okay, you probably don't even realize that this is coming up for you, but like, these are the core values I'm seeing. And they're not like, you know, people will say a value may be women's empowerment, but there's so much more that you can dive into deeper and deeper below the surface. Right. So for us, like, we talk about this all the time, Mitch and I do, just like, you know, our own stories, what we've learned and what values we both carry. And I do a lot of this just kind of personal reflection on what I care about most and why that's important to me, and just kind of finding these themes that come up both in these conversations that our customers are having when we're engaging with people and talking to people and getting to know our target audience, and also just in things that come up in my own life that I struggle with, or like I very much resonate with what our target audience is going through, with just kind of juggling so many things, having big ambitions, and, you know, battling with problems with focus, and, you know, having the tendency to put work before ourselves. Yeah. And so I just kind of, a lot of it comes from self-reflection for us, just because I am part of our target audience. But if you're not necessarily a part of your target audience, just being really clear on those values, and chances are you're going to see them show up in every area of your work and your life, which is amazing. It's like, you'll find those values exist in all of your closest relationships, in, you know, your friendships, and in your hobbies, and, you know, your actual work. They show up everywhere, and they're true about pretty much everything that feels authentic and aligned with you. So I'd say, as far as like bringing them to your audience and really showing up and living true to your values, one thing is just stop consuming so much for a minute and tap in.
That's how I've been feeling.
Yeah, it's like, there's so many tips and things, and it's like, if you let other people tell you how to be present on social media, then you're not going to find your own way of doing it. Yes. And it took me a while to really catch my stride and figure out, what do I want to be doing But what I've really realized I want to do is just highlight the kind of lighthearted humor in how imperfect and
Yes.
like the wellness practice is. It's like wellness is a huge value of mine, but I am not like this picture of perfection and health and productivity every day. Like, and I think it's just so important that we stop kicking ourselves for not being perfect. Like we see these perfectly curated images of life all over social media. It's like nobody is really that all the time.
No.
So
you should see behind the scenes on these photo shoots. Like I made this photo look incredible, but truly the gardener was coming and the kid was screaming and there's actually ketchup on the underside of her shirt. But like, oh, she looks good in the photo, but really it's like such a hot mess to get it to work. And so I love that. I want to highlight something I just saw on your feed, the should have, or you were sitting outside. Am I, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, explain it. You're sitting outside in a park, just like relaxing, and then all of a sudden, all these thoughts started rolling through your brain of stuff you should have been doing at that time.
Yeah, I should myself.
Yes, I love that. I shouldn't myself.
Yeah, and like you ever just take a break and you're enjoying your life and then you just start feeling bad for not working. And that's really what it comes down to. It's like these like should have, could have, would have, like in the past tense are so just like taxing to be holding those and carrying those like regrets around. But then even in the present moment, if you start thinking like in that particular moment, it was so nice out. I had taken my bike out for a little ride. I was sitting in the park and I was like, oh man, like it was the middle of the afternoon. And I didn't have anything in particular I had to like be there for. And I was like, there's literally always going to be work to do also. And so I was like, this is a perfect time to take a break. I'm like not being very productive because I'm starting to feel scatterbrained. I'm just going to go get fresh air. But yeah, as soon as I actually took the break, I started feeling bad and guilty for doing it and started telling myself all the things I should be doing instead. I'm like, no, this is exactly what I should be doing because I can't do my best work unless I feel like my best self. And I was not feeling like my best self. So now I'm going to recharge. Yeah. And so just really thinking through like, if like rest is productive, be compassionate towards yourself. Don't deprive yourself of the rest you need and whatever it is, even if it doesn't look on the outside like productive, as we might define it in kind of like hustle culture that everyone seems to be so wrapped up in. I just think it's so important that we like be more present, kind of embrace the fact that we've chosen to take that time for ourselves when we take it and like commit to that time for ourselves. So I'm definitely still learning the art of it, but I thought I would share my little my less than perfect moment of trying to take a break and adding stress onto my break for no reason.
I'd never heard it said that way. It was just perfect. And I was looking at it while I took a break in between meetings and I watched it and I'm like, oh my God, she just called me out so hard. Like I was sitting there like, okay, I have this book I'm trying to catch up on. I have this course that I'm going through. I have this client waiting for my email. I have this, blah, blah, blah. And then finally I watched it. I'm like, okay, thank you. Yes. Thank you, Chelsea. I needed that today.
I'm so glad it was helpful.
That's your real. See, that's the thing, you guys. You got to go follow We Are Fredi and all of the things that Chelsea and Mitch are doing. But I think that it's the kind of stuff we need in the middle of our day. The content you're posting is so natural. You've really dialed in your voice. And so I want to commend you on that because it's something that's hard. Like I'm giving myself a year to really figure out my voice. It's like if I go live every week, by the end of the 50-second episode, I'll figure out how to speak to my audience. It's like practice makes perfect. But I feel like you guys have done such a good job, and I'm so excited to continue following along and spreading the word. And I'm also going to get like the biggest order of this focus by Fredi and see if I can slow down my coffee consumption.
Yay! Yes. Well, I cannot wait to hear how it works for you.
Thank you.
We're back in stock.
I know.
Hopefully soon. COVID is it is a whole nother world right now trying to navigate inventory.
Yes.
But yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. This has been so fun.
Thanks so much. Oh, what's your clubhouse thing so people can stalk you? What's your username?
It's just my full name, Chelsea Glazer on Clubhouse.
Yep. Awesome. And mine's Stephanie Tusler. Yeah, it's good. So let's hang out on there. Let's get Mitch on there. You guys, I'll post on my Insta when we host a room together. But I think we could go into some of the like nitty gritty. Okay, so you're back ordered. You sold out on all of these things. What's the manufacturing process look like? Let's dive into some of the cool the details on there. Let's hang.
Totally. We're like an open book when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Good.
Love sharing it. So absolutely, let's definitely do that.
Okay. I love it. Thanks you guys for joining. Thanks so much, Chelsea. Bye, Mitch, and everyone else watching. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.